every condition the human mind encounters. Joseph Murphy spent his entire life reading the Bible. He read it every morning, read it in Hebrew, he read it in Greek, he read it in Latin, he read it through the lens of the psychological mysticism, every condition the human mind encounters. And he taught the Bible is a code. Scripture is a record of psychological states. Every figure in the Bible represents a faculty of consciousness. Every story is the description of an inner process. The literal historical reading is the surface. The psychological reading is the depth. Murphy gave specific decoded interpretations in book after book. Once you learn the code, the entire Bible opens up in a new way. Joseph, the dreamer, with the coat of many colors, is the imagination. The imagination is the favored son of consciousness, gifted with vision, capable of seeing futures that have yet to arrive. His brothers, the rational faculties, are jealous of the imagination and try to suppress it. They throw it into a pit. They sell it into slavery. But the imagination survives. The imagination rises in Egypt, interprets the dreams of the Pharaoh, and eventually rules over the entire land. The imagination becomes the ruler of consciousness. Pharaoh is the conscious reasoning mind. He is limited. He is bound by what he can see and measure. He receives dreams he can never interpret. The imagination is the person of Joseph, is the only faculty that can read the deeper message of the subconscious. The promised land is the fulfillment of your desire. It is the state of consciousness in which the thing you have been longing for has become your actual experience. Moses, the part of you that knows the law of the mind, leads you toward this state, but never enters it himself. The law of mind is the doorway, never the destination. Lazarus, the man raised from the dead, is your dormant desire, the thing in your life you've given up on, the hope you have buried. Jesus, the awakened spiritual sense within you, calls Lazarus forth from the tomb. Your dead hopes are revived through the spoken word of conviction. Walking on water is the mastery of the emotional surface. Water is the unconscious sea of feeling. Most of us are drowning in it. The awakened consciousness walks across the surface, undisturbed by the waves, balanced, calm, and sovereign. The two great commandments are operational instructions. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind. This is the instruction to give your complete attention, your complete feeling, your complete devotion to your highest awareness. Love your neighbor as yourself. The neighbor is the closest thought to you, the thing you are entering and entertaining in your imagination at this very moment. Love it as yourself because it will become yourself. I am is the consciousness of being. It is the most powerful phrase in the Hebrew scriptures. I love Joseph Murphy's teachings on the I am. It is the name God speaks to Moses from the burning bush. I am that I am. He explains that whenever you attach to I am, you become. I am sick, I am poor, I'm alone, or I am strong. I am prosperous, I am loved. The consciousness of being is the creative power, and the words you attach to it shape your experience. This is the Bible Murphy read, the Bible he taught, and he spent decades teaching his Los Angeles congregation how to decode scripture this way. I absolutely love it. It's opened up everything for me in understanding the Bible, when before it was a document that made no sense and was clearly false. He believed that once you learned the code, the Bible became the greatest psychological textbook ever written, and he used it to inform his techniques and affirmations from that point forward. The modern self-help summaries of Murphy have stripped all of this out. The biblical content has been removed because it takes modern readers to an uncomfortable place. But the Bible was the operating manual Murphy used to understand. Without it is to understand at half power. Murphy taught a specific 5-step prayer protocol he called scientific prayer. It is the structured application of everything codified into a method anyone could follow. The 5 steps are these. First, recognition. You begin by recognizing the infinite intelligence that exists within and around you. You acknowledge the source. You orient yourself toward the deeper mind that is the real agent of your life. Second, unification. You unify yourself with this intelligence. You feel your connection to it. You release the sense of separation. You become one with the power you're about to direct. Third, realization. You realize in the present moment the truth of what you're praying for. If you're praying for health, you realize that perfect health is the underlying reality of your body. If you are praying for prosperity, you realize that infinite abundance is the underlying reality of your life. You see the desired condition as already true, already accomplished, already manifest in the spiritual realm. Fourth, thanksgiving. You give thanks for the completion of your prayer. You celebrate the answered prayer as if it has already arrived. The thanksgiving seals the impression. It locks the inner picture into place. Fifth is release. You release the prayer. You let it go. You drop it into the deeper mind and you turn away from it. You trust that the work is done. You stop thinking about it. You go about your day. He had this element where he taught about the subconscious mind beyond just the imagination, a very scientific understanding of the way the subconscious mind worked. The release is the hardest step. Most people pray and then keep checking. They pray and then worry about whether the prayer is working. They pray and then return to the state of lack and anxiety. The prayer never takes root. The praying person never lets go. The release is everything. Murphy paired this with what he called the law of substitution. Whenever a negative thought arises, you immediately substitute its opposite. Fear becomes confidence. Lack becomes abundance. Sickness becomes wholeness. You do this continuously, hundreds of times a day, if necessary, until the new pattern has taken hold and the old pattern has dissolved. He's also taught what he called the healing word, a single phrase carefully chosen for the specific condition, repeated with feeling at regular intervals throughout the day. The healing word is the conscious tool by which the sleep treatment is reinforced during waking hours. The common thread is always the same. A specific phrase, planted in the prayer state, repeated with feeling, released into the deeper mind, allowed to organize the outer conditions of the life. Together they form a complete circuit. The sleep treatment plants the seed in the deeper mind. The healing word waters the seed throughout the day. The condition shifts. These are the techniques. They're specific and usable. They've been demonstrated in thousands of case studies. I have been reading Joseph Murphy for almost a decade. This is what I want to give you. 3 things. The first is the sleep treatment. The most powerful single technique in the modern self-help canon. It sounds familiar, but it's very specific. It's applying this for a 20-minute period. Tonight when you go to bed, choose one phrase, make it specific, make it feel like the completion of your desire, never the seeking of it. Repeat it slowly as you drift into sleep. Let it sink into your deeper mind. Do this every night for 30 days. Pay attention to what shifts. Second, the law of substitution. It's the most underrated tool Murphy ever taught. Throughout your day, whenever a negative thought arises, immediately substitute its opposite. Do this hundreds of times a day if you have to. The old pattern dissolves through sustained refusal to feed it. The new pattern takes hold through sustained attention. This is how the inner climate changes. Third, the Bible is the operating manual Murphy used, and you can use it the same way. Every figure is a state of consciousness. Every story is the description of an inner process. Joseph is the imagination. The Pharaoh is the reasoning mind. Eve is the subconscious. I am is the creative power. The promised land is the fulfillment of your desire. Once you start reading the scripture this way, the entire text comes alive as a manual for reality creation. These are the keys. These are Murphy's keys. They were given to him by an Ethiopian rabbi in a Harlem apartment 100 years ago, and they have been carried down through his books and his lectures and his radio broadcasts and his published works, and they are still here, still operational, still working in any life that picks them up. Conventional psychology and science has no framework for. The man who wrote The Power of the Subconscious Mind was the real thing. He took the most ancient esoteric teachings of the West and translated them into an operational instruction that anyone willing to do the work can follow. He made it easy for me to understand the power of the subconscious mind. He helped me to manifest my dream life, and he can help you manifest yours. The method's been hiding in his books for 60 years. Now you know where to look. You are the proof